In order, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thanks for coming, everybody. Martin Luther King's day, right? Happy birthday, John.
Thank you.
I hear a rumor it's your birthday.
Yep, 21
Really? I thought you were 39 and holding.
on each side.
Okay.
I've got some room.
All right, good, good. Roll call, please.
Karen Straffen? Here. Tom Fetter?
Here.
Tom Kruger?
Here.
Artie Bryson?
Here.
Cindy Valentine? Here. John Horvath?
Here,
Joanne Shirkey?
Here.
Okay, we're all here, accounted for, and present, and definitely have a quorum. Moving right along, bills payable, entertain a motion.
Make a motion to pay the bills payable in the amount of $134,079.91.
Support.
Okay, we have motion and support. Any discussion? On one thing under, you'll see it was buildings and grounds, we have our liability insurance, a third install. That's going to be divvied up between fire, police, water, and I'm waiting the information from them on how it should be allocated. So right now, we're just putting it in here, and then once we get that, Cindy will allocate it as accordingly. Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Tom Fetter?
Yes.
Tom Kruger?
Yes.
Artie Bryson?
Yes.
Cindy Valentine? Yes. John Horvath?
yes,
Joanne Shirkey?
Yes.
Karen Straffen? Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Next, do we have any public comments on anything on our agenda? Any public comments on anything on the agenda? Bill, you got anything for us? Bill says no.
John's truck's one, you guys gotta hurry up.
Yeah, I hear you. So moving right along, have the consent agenda, entertain a motion.
Oh, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda consisting of the board meeting minutes of January 4th and the synopsis and the reports, the check report assessing and the building and zoning and the code enforcement and the 2016 SEC MTA annual dinner and the Michigan Voter Information Center communication.
Support.
Okay, we have motion and support. Does anyone like to pull anything out? Hearing none, all in favor of the consent agenda, signify by saying aye.
aye,
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay, supervisor's report, brace yourself. Been working on, still with our MERS issue and then the ALS transport issue. That's going forward. And then, I don't know if everyone's aware, the Detroit Bridge Company filed a permit with the DEQ to build a bridge going to Harson's Island again. We had many phone calls and emails. The DEQ only gave us 20 days for public a 20-day period for public comments. And I spent about 2.5 hours on the phone with the DEQ people, and I sent them a letter because we needed to have a public hearing, I felt, because there was so much people requesting so much information, had questions, and I mean, that was the only really way to handle it. I sent them a letter requesting that they do a public comment or a public hearing, and they verbally told me that they were going to. It's tentatively scheduled sometime in March. We'll probably have it at the Algonquin Junior High in their auditorium. They haven't announced it yet. They told me because they're trying to figure out timing when they can get the hall and do the public hearing, because you have to publicize it in the paper and everything beforehand. But that should be coming in sometime in March. And then how it works, they'll hold the public comment open for this particular permit 10 days after the public hearing. So if anyone, wants to do something in writing, they have 10 days after the public hearing, whatever that day may be. So we'll have more information on that to come. Met with Elginak Youth Football and Cheer, is it league? Yeah, league this past week. Dr. Stricker and I went to one of their meetings, and it was very interesting. They just wanted us to come and see what they do and how they do it and everything. And I give those guys a lot of credit because they do a lot with very little. I didn't realize all the registration money and the money that goes for advertising. Companies put the name on the back of their jersey and everything. It doesn't go to the Elginak Youth Football League. It goes to the TAFL, right? And so they do various fundraisers for themselves to generate money. And in fact, they just had a chili cook-off this past weekend at the FOE, and I did not win the widescreen TV, I don't think. At least they didn't call me. But anyhow, I want to read this letter real quick. Artie Bryson, I write to you today on the behalf of the AYFL Board of Directors. Thank you and your entire staff through Clay Township. The 2015 football season was not only successful in the high school level, but also at the youth level. Your offices provided services, donations, and endless support in any endeavor that our league approached you with. Our cancer banner program saw record dollars this year, which increased the donation to the American Cancer Society. Our welcome to the swamp yard sign sales helped bring Muskrat spirit to Clay Township and help boost funding not only to AYFL, but also to the high school program as well. In addition, these fundraisers, your staff on the police and fire EMS departments contributed greatly. A special thanks to Chief Darrell DePage, John Solinsky, Carl Bailey, Ryan Gujan, Jonathan Falk, and James Pelletier for their assistance at our AYFL home game on October 10th, 2015. It is comforting to know that we are building a program for our youth that is so highly supported by the community as a whole, but especially from the government offices as well. We pride ourselves on being a feeder program for our Elginak Community School sports program and could not continue our success without the overwhelming volunteers, the community member that gives time, the community members that gives time, money, wisdom to our program. Thank you again. We look forward to another great season in 2016. Sincerely, Chris Hilton.
Yep.
The AYFL president. So yeah, it was a good meeting. I'm glad I went. Like I say, they do a lot of great stuff with very little resources, and we should support them whenever we can. The DDA's is paying for the expansion of electricity in the park and putting lights in the walking paths, and that project's going ahead. I'm hoping they're talking about starting this week or next week. I'm not sure with this cold weather, but they're going to start boring all the lines and making that happen. I'm doing some research. The DDA requested for me for a new grant. It's going to be for I call it a new business incubator grant. It's going to be for new startup businesses within the district that come either they're renting or they buy a new retail spot or whatever, and it's basically going to consist of the DDA giving them $2,000 startup funds. We're working out the details. I know there's some other communities that do this. I'm going to plagiarize it, see how they do it, and for checks and balances. But I think what we're going to do is fund up to 5 of them. It has to be within the district. And then I know for one of our other communities, the St. Clair County Community Foundation, not Clay, the St. Clair County Community Foundation also did matching $2,000. And so if a new business comes in to our district, they'll basically get $4,000. They can put it towards inventory or rent or getting utilities turned on and all that stuff. And I myself have done that, and believe me, that come in very handy for someone starting out a new business in our district. So I'm going to be working on that in the next couple of weeks. I am very proud to announce, it's been about 2 years ago that Terry McFadden from the DNR came to this board and told us about a project they have for the St. John's Marsh. It's going to consist of dredging out some of their canals, building up dikes, and doing some work in the interior. They're going to put in pumps so they can regulate the water levels in the St. John's Marsh. And they're talking about putting in a couple boat ramps and added parking off the dike road where the monument is. And I think I mentioned it to this board about 6-8 months ago that became the #1 priority job in the state of Michigan for the DNR going forward. Well, I am really happy to say that it's all funded and it's going to happen. I know I'm invited to a kickoff meeting to get it organized in May. I don't know exactly what they're talking about, if it's going to happen, this year or this fall or 2017. But that's great news, and that project's going to move forward, and I think it'll be a big asset to our community. Upcoming events, we have the Winterfest in the Township Park, February 19th, 20th, 21st. If you want any information, go to either Pearl Beach Lions webpage or even on Facebook or claytownship.org. On our front page, we have the spotlight. Click on it, you get the flyer. But it's going to be a great event. There's going to be horseshoes in the snow, so we coined it snowshoes. There's going to be chili cook-offs, a DJ on Friday. Saturday night, one of the all-time great bands, Soul Providers, playing there. And we got the beer tent going, and there's going to be figure skating going on in the rink. And the rumor we might have some hockey players too coming. They're trying to work out to do some seminars on playing hockey. They have a circus coming, not the animals, but the people that are going to be doing all kinds of tricks and stuff. There's going to be 2 shows of that on Saturday, I believe. And WWE Wrestling, Sunday.
It's XICW Wrestling.
Oh, is it?
Extreme Intense Championship Wrestling. Yes.
XICW.
CW.
With some of the WWE people.
Yes.
So, okay, I learn something every day. XICW Wrestling, Sunday. But like I say, for all the particular, the fishing contest for the kids.
Yes.
And I think that's my favorite event, actually.
I'm just happy we're going to have ice.
Yes, we are. And that's a good segue to our ice rink. We flooded a couple weeks ago. The ice got wrecked up or messed up. People got on there before it was ready. They busted it up on the edges, and then they cleared it, but they only cleared half of the rink, and they left a big pile of snow in the middle of the rink, and it turns to ice. So long story short, the fire department Saturday had to work. They worked hard. Basically, we had to bust all the ice out and drain it and we pushed all the ice on the side.
There were several hours.
Several hours, yes.
They were working in the rain, too.
Yes, and working in the rain. And we reflooded it, and we got about an inch and a half out there right now, but you can't get on it yet. Be patient, please. The way that it's configured, it doesn't freeze good on the sides, because you think because it's shallow you only need an inch, but actually you need more ice in the shallow water to support the weight. So I'm hoping by Wednesday or Thursday that we'll be good to go. The fire department's going to groom it and resurface it and make it really nice. So we do have a fence on there and keep off signs, but please don't go on there yet. Be patient. I myself, I'll be gone Tuesday through Friday at the MTA conference in Detroit, and I think John and Joanna are going to join me down there. So, but I will be available email and, yeah, primary email. I'll have limited use of email, so. Okay, that being said, that's the rest of my report. What did the guy from 60 Minutes say, and the rest is history or something like that? I can't remember. Moving right along.
Artie, excuse
Yes,
me?
yes,
When you said the district, does that include the island?
the district for.
When you said for the,
No, the DDA district goes basically
Willow Court,
Willow Court, where the old Cheers is, to the end of the township to, till you hit Elginak. Then it does go down Ainsworth to the school and down Nook to Taft.
okay.
But yeah, that's the DDA
Okay.
district. And how it works, all the money's captured has to be spent in the district.
That's all I was asking.
Yep, no problem. All right, unfinished business, document management, I think Cindy put some more information.
I did. The particular software that I felt was very user-friendly, I did have him provide us with some references. I have not yet had a chance to call them. I do intend to. If anybody else has the opportunity and gets a hold of some of them, you can feel free to let me know, and I'll skip on down to another one. I included a document management buyer's guide that I received from Prime Office. They're supposed to be coming out next week to give me a quote for a new copier, because our lease is going to be up on our copier in June. And they also do some document management, so I'm going to discuss what they have to offer as well. But they did give me this buyer's guide just as a point of reference and things to consider that I included too. So anybody that's interested in helping me figure out what would be the best option for the township, just some additional info, and hopefully by the next meeting I'll be able to.
There's usually a couple of those guys at the MTA. Do you want some information from them?
Absolutely.
Okay. That-
Absolutely. So
That I
was
will.
Just to keep everybody posted on what we were doing in regards to that and where we were at.
Yeah. And also too, the biggest problem is how to get this stuff scanned. And I mean, we briefly looked at different ways to do this, but I think truthfully the best way is to sub it out to the county, because they basically, Jay does it at the clerks, and they basically would charge us, $8.50 a man hour to do that, and they use their equipment. If we brought someone in here, I can't imagine paying anyone any less, and we'd still have to get the equipment and the know-how to get that done. So, but we'll have more on that to come. Anything else on document management?
That's all I have.
Okay, new business, Pearl Beach Lions. Approve a temporary liquor license and alcohol beverages in our park, and did this board approve you to use it? I think we did.
Yes.
Back in November. So I know that was a long time ago. I just want to make sure. So we have an email from actually Mr. Fetter requesting us to allow them to serve adult beverages during the Winterfest. And I'm sure they have to maintain the laws under the Michigan liquor license, but you need a fence and all that good stuff.
Basically an enclosed area.
Yeah, enclosed area, the tent.
It's a tent.
Right, it's a tent, so. Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Pearl Beach Lions Club to sell alcoholic beverages at the Winterfest.
Support.
Okay, we have motion and support for the Pearl Beach Lions to obtain a temporary license for alcohol beverages. It would be, I just said it, February 19th, 20th, and 21st. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Moving right along, we have a appointment, we have a vacancy on the Board of Reviews for alternate And we're recommending that we appoint Sandy
Kufel.
Kufelt. Sandy Kufelt. And you see the email where she's interested in helping us out, and
Just a little background, the Board of Review is obviously going to be coming up pretty busy here in short order, and they do have a training on February 9th.
yes.
So if we wanted to get somebody in that position and get them trained, we're kind
I'll
of
make a
under
motion, we
pressure.
appoint Sandy Kufelt alternate to the Board of Review.
Okay, we have motion, all kinds of support. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next we have approved the building expansion on the police department. The DDA approved to spend up to basically half of the project, spend up to $216,000 on it. And we're requesting that we can do this out of the police budget to match it. And it would come out of line item 207-000-970, outlays, capital outlays of over $5,000. The reason being that we have a few issues in there. That building was never designed as a police station. It was originally for the water department, and then the water department moved out, and the police basically migrated in there as it stood. And there's really three things pushing it. One, we do have women police and dispatchers, and there's no women's locker room, and we're getting some pressure from MIOSHA and them. I don't blame them. They want their own locker room. Another big reason is our evidence room is jam-packed full. If we were audited, we're probably not in compliant right now, the way we're handling our evidence, especially the biological evidence for like DNA and that type of stuff. And we are required to keep this stuff. A lot of it's forever, isn't that right, Mike? And we just can't rent a storage unit at Pryor's and stick it all in there. It doesn't work that way. Wish it did. But, really the big reason is, excuse me, there's some security issues involved with it as far as our interview rooms and everything else. And I don't know, I'd have one less reason to stay awake at night because knowing that there are security issues in our own police department, I believe we should do what we have to do to alleviate that if we have the resources. And if you remember, in our police fund balance, we have $220,000 in a fund for building for doing this addition for the police. They started saving for it many years ago. And we put it out for bid, and we sent 8 out. We got a nice bid back from LaBelle. It's not electric, that's how I know them, LaBelle Development. And it also comes with the alternate 2. The alternate 2 was for basically to pay for them to tent the whole area and heat it so they could start earlier, like in a couple days, and not push it back to, they're talking without it, probably April or May, which would put the construction going back to the end of July. And personally, I don't really think that would be wise that we have a work site going on halfway through the summer in our park. We did have Mike and I sat down, and the architect sat down with the LaBelle team, and we had a post-bid scope clarification meeting. We went through all the assumptions and all the questions that we had for them and they had for us. They're all answered to everyone's satisfaction. I mean, I walked out feeling warm and fuzzy. I know Mike did, and they also did. So, make a long story short, or short story long, I'm recommending that the police, we pay half of the project up to $216,000 out of the police line item. It is a budgeted item of capital outlay over $5,000. Any questions or
DDA is going to match?
DDA?
What is the quote?
The whole thing was 403,000 plus the alternate 2 is another 27,500.
That's the tenant.
Right, to tenant and heat it. I did talk to a couple of contractors at first I thought that was a little pricey, but they all say that's pretty much in line for 2 months of heat and to tent the whole thing. Then they have to have warming blankets for where they pour the footings and the cement, so forth, so on. If we approve it tonight, they're talking about showing up Wednesday to start.
I just wanted to ask, you've got alternate number 1, it talks about insulation on the underside of the deck of the new addition. Is it not going to be insulated?
Well, it's going to be pretty much how the building is now that exists.
Is it going to be a slab?
Well, this is underneath the slab, that's for up in the ceiling. For this amount of money, I think we can get the whole building, the new and the
okay.
old, foamed,
Okay.
okay?
And then the next question I had is looking under the qualifications, I didn't see any HVAC. So the stuff that we just bought recently, is that big enough to,
No, we're going to have more HVAC installed, and it's part of the quote.
oh, it is? 'Cause
Yes.
I didn't see it in here, okay.
Yep.
I don't want you to be cold.
How many square feet are we going to add on, Artie?
What is it, 30, how many square feet, Mike, is it?
Just under 3,200.
Yeah, around 3,200.
31.7.
And what's there right now, please?
What are we at right now? I don't know exactly offhand, John, but I would have to say right now, we're probably
30.
over 4,000.
It's that- I don't think it's
Just
that
so I
big.
can mentally,
We're close.
100 or 1,000?
Close to double it. It comes out to about $127 a square foot. And I mean, it's done with carpeting and everything.
This building is good? Okay.
So,
4,000 square feet. They're talking about putting 32 on, so we have 72.
Okay. Artie,
yeah.
you got a figure over here, 378,817.
Well, that's when we
Then
back-
you got one down here, 406,317.
Well,
But
I
then up here-
handwritten that. That's when we back out all the allowances. And a lot of that stuff we're going to do ourselves.
Okay,
But we still, in other words, he's got an allowance for 3,200 for kitchen appliances for their break room. We can go out and buy our own.
okay.
And basically, so I was just figuring in my head, I backed a lot of these allowances out ourselves. Like, we're gonna run our own Cat 5, or is it Cat's, our computer wiring, the data cable for 4,200. He had $1,000 allowances for a building permit. We're not gonna charge him for a building permit. So when you back that out, that's real numbers, but like I say, allowance for kitchen casework, we're gonna still have to get that stuff. Some of it, he can actually purchase some of that a little better than we can. So we'll get together, we'll be working with him, we'll probably get a price for some cabinets and say, hey, Chris, what do you think? Can you do it cheaper or not? And he'll say yay or nay.
So the total is 43,1017.
Yes,
Yep.
for the
Now,
whole project.
another question, has Sid been involved with this?
Yes.
Has he got?
Yeah,
has he
Sid
seen
checked
the
it.
plans and stuff?
Yeah, Sid saw the plans, he reviewed it, he thought everything was in line. This quote was in line with our architect. We hired Larry Nichols He's out of Marine City, and everything was in line with that. We had one company that just didn't have time to bid it because they're so busy. I took this over to them, and they basically told me they would probably have been 40 grand higher than this. So I feel good about it. And like I say, the company, I believe, is their first rate, and they're going to bang it out in 13 weeks.
Which is good. That is good, yep.
In fact, they already got going on the steel trusses. They're waiting for my email. They're ready to rock and roll.
I'll make a motion, we approve the police department building expansion for a total cost of $431,017, with half of the project paid out of line item 207000970, and the other half paid by the DDA.
Support.
Support?
Okay, we have a motion, and Karen supported it. Any more discussion? There's going to be a training area involved with this also. It's going to be nice. And actually, during our scope clarification, we threw a few other changes we asked them to do of the existing building, and they agreed to do it as, while they're there. So,
Sounds good.
yeah.
Yeah, they agreed to tear down a wall for
Yep,
us. and do
yeah,
some
the
other
tear
stuff.
down the wall in the Sally Port and do a couple other things, so. I know Mike's looking forward to it, and the guys and the gals over there are pretty excited about it, so. Any more discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Tom Kruger,
Yes.
Artie Bryson.
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes. John Horvath,
Yes.
Joanne Shirkey.
Yes,
Karen Straffen.
Yes.
Tom Fetter.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Hey, Mike, want to come up? Next on our agenda, I lost my agenda, there it is. We have Police Department Approval Officer elevation to full-time, David Ferraro? Ferrardo. So you want to tell us about David?
Well, Dave came to us approximately about a year ago now. He's been working with us as a part-time officer. He had recently gone back to school full-time, was hoping to come back work part-time with us in the summer because we did not have anything that was open full-time. So recently, we had a resignation of one of our officers, unfortunately, and which did open up a vacancy for us. In doing so, the interest was expressed by Dave Fajardo that he would love to have this full-time position, and he's been a pretty good asset to our department and brings a lot of qualifications, good training with him, and is all-around real good officer. And I think he's going to be a very good addition to our department.
How old is he?
I believe Dave, probably 44.
Live locally?
About there. East China. Been here, been there pretty much his whole life. Whole family is from St. Clair, East China. Matter of fact, his uncle, Don McLeod, who's a retired Detroit officer, worked quite a few years for us as a retired or a part-time police officer as well. Another fantastic man there, top shelf. Pretty much runs in the family. His brother, Larry Fajardo, works for St. Clair County Sheriff's Department. So the law enforcement is definitely in the bloodline.
Any other questions or any discussion? You didn't think you were going to get out of this meeting scot-free without talking to us. Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve Officer Dave Fajardo. Is that it?
Fajardo.
H with an H instead of a J. Fajardo.
David Fajardo.
Fajardo. To approve him to full-time status with Clay Township PD.
Support?
Okay, we have motion and support. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, Mike, and I'd like your new tennis shoes. Okay, we will. Next, as you recall, I think it was 2 meetings ago, Doug Alexander and Mark from the Elginak Water Plant was here and talking about electrical upgrade in the water plant. And at first they were talking, they put it into 2 phases basically. And they were talking about just doing the first phase at first, but, and I was talking to the electrical contractor and so is Algonac. It really makes sense. It'd be easier for them if we did all 2 phases at once. Because if we waited till July, there's a good chance that the materials would go up significantly. I should say it's about, who knows, 6%. And like I say, this phase 2, materials are $27,000 and labor is $5,000. So it's not a whole lot of labor cost, but the total cost of the project, if materials go up, it would increase the amount of the whole job quite a bit. So the last meeting, we adopted a new budget for the water plant department, our water budget, and we the bottom line stayed this. No, actually, we decreased the bottom line, but we moved some things around, so we had it in this year's budget to do our share of the phase 2 of the electrical upgrade. And what I'm asking the board is to approve that so we can get that project going.
Make a motion to approve $21,665.45 for the water plant capital improvement.
Support.
Okay, we have motion and support. Any more discussion?
I just have one thing to say, of course.
We're talking about the water plant.
Yeah.
I'm sure we are.
All right, I have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with the upgrade. I think it's a good thing. It's smart.
Right.
I think the price is right. What upsets me is it should have been done when the plant was put in. And I want to make that clear. I'm in disagreement to what's coming down. Because we keep carrying this burden, Artie, and, are we benefiting, are people benefiting that much?
We got the cheapest water in this county.
I understand all that. We can go on and on about that, but I don't think that it's being managed correctly. That's my big
Okay.
gripe.
Well,
Okay?
duly noted.
I'll shut up.
No, that's okay. It's your birthday time, John. You don't have to
Doesn't
shut
give me
up.
any privileges.
You don't have to shut up on your birthday.
I thank God I got breath to say something.
That's right. But, basically this, we've put a lot of money into it in these variable speed pumps for the water, for pressurizing the water. And this is basically going to protect that. So hopefully they'll last a long time. Any more discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
John Horvath,
Yes, based on what I said.
Joanne Shirkey,
Yes.
Karen Straffen,
Yes.
Tom Feder,
Yes.
Tom Kruger,
Yes.
Artie Bryson,
Yes, based on what John said.
Cindy Valentine, yes.
Okay, motion passes. All right, next we go on to public comments. Do we have any public comments? No public comments. Moving right along, board member comments. Karen, do you have anything?
No, thank you.
Mr. Feder?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay. Tom Kruger?
Nope.
Joanne?
Couple points from as the Planning Commission representative. We met on January 13th, and for a couple months, they were working on several amendments to our ordinance, 126. In particular, the special approval land uses section, and also the amendment for unobstructed yard fencing, unobstructed yard space, unobstructed space, yard space with fencing, the fencing ordinance. It was unanimously voted on by all 9 members that were present that evening, and so it moves on and will become final.
Well, not quite. It goes to
No,
the
it-
county.
yes,
It goes to the
well,
county.
right,
And then
right.
the county planning commission has to bless it,
Yeah.
and then it comes before this board.
Right.
Mr. Horvath,
I have just a couple questions. I received 3 letters of, I don't know, against the bridge.
okay?
I said, they sent them to me, not the DNR. So my question is, how do I get that channeled in the right direction for those?
I'll get you the address, and I have our email address too.
Okay.
But this is through the DEQ, and it's really not if you tell them, well, I just don't want the bridge, I mean, they're looking at environmental impacts and that type of a thing. I mean, there's 100 people on the aisle, 99 don't want the bridge, but one does, or it doesn't matter, everyone can be against. They have to look at their criteria on this permit. And there are some issues that they need to answer. And like I said, they are gonna have the public hearing, I don't know when yet. And so I'll get that information to you.
Well, I called the lady back in Florida and I said, why are you sending them to me? And she said, well, you're on the board. And I said, well,
Right.
it should go to the DNR.
Right.
And then she sent me a letter, another lady sent me a letter for the dangerous building. So do I give that to you?
Yeah,
Okay.
or the building department, either one.
Seemed like I'm the island office here lately.
Yeah, that's all right. But yeah, and there were some people that think that, they were actually applying to us, and we really had very little to do with it. It's a private company wishing to do this, and they got a long haul to go too, so. Okay, thanks, John. Cindy?
Yes, this year we have 3 elections coming up, so if anyone is interested in being an election poll worker or inspector, we could definitely use some help. There's going to be some upcoming trainings. You do have to be trained before you can participate, so if anyone is interested, I would encourage them to get a hold of the township offices with your name and contact information as soon as you can. The first one's going to be March 8th will be our first election.
Now, that's because the state changed the process a little bit, did they not?
A little bit, yes,
The presidential primaries in March.
in March, yeah.
Usually it was August,
Yes. Yeah, no.
No, it was always earlier.
was it?
It's usually
Okay.
February. Actually, it's a little bit later. It's usually
Really?
February, I
Yeah.
think.
Okay.
But they eliminated the straight party ticket.
Right.
But it's just a couple-hour class. I think they do it in St. Clair so that they can be certified. And then I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but election workers don't have to pay state or federal tax up to $1,600.
Certain amount, yeah.
It's $1,600 this
That
year.
reminds me, we were talking too, and maybe we'll bring it to the board for the next meeting, or you can think about it. But our election worker, I mean, it's a long day. It's a big job. Joanne's done it for a long time. And how many hours are you there?
14, 16 hours?
14, 16 hours. I mean, it's a big job. And we haven't given those people a raise since, I don't know how long, forever.
Forever.
And Cindy and I were talking, because we do their wages get reimbursed from us. So it's basically,
State.
the state reimburses us. So that's money in, money out. And I think we should look at giving them a bump in their wages. Just because, like I said, we haven't raised it forever, and it is a big, very important job, number one, and number two, we need the help, and we need to show them our appreciation, I think.
Is there a limit by the state? Because I'm really surprised that they would give this board discretion.
Oddly enough, there's no set guidelines, there's no limits, and when you poll other townships, they're across the board. Some pay minimum wage, some pay their workers a little bit more, some pay them just a flat amount per day. It's totally up to the
Right, not by the hour,
discretion
but by
of-
the day.
I guess it depends on your situation, how busy you are, how long your days are, So they kind of, believe it or not, leave that pretty open.
Okay. I just want to mention to everybody out in TV land, We're selling dog licenses to the end of the March, or February, I'm sorry. After that, you have to get them from the county. We're not allowed to sell them after the end of
I
February.
got mine.
John's got his. Are you
The price
displaying
goes
it?
up to
My wife got me one.
$40 after February.
What's that?
Price goes up to $40 too,
Wow, okay.
so get them now.
Get them now from us.
I don't have
Had a friend fall in the bay, I think it was yesterday or the day before, and he was up chest and he couldn't get out. We almost had he was worried. Be careful out there, the ice is thin. I know it's cold, but
Watch those gas pockets.
watch the gas pockets. And that's about all. I'm gonna be gone for conference the rest of this week. Other than that, that's all I have. Does anyone have anything for the agenda next week? If you think of anything, let me know.
Motion to adjourn?
Support?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great couple weeks. Winter's here.
Now, did you know on Sunday?
I put
Initially, yes, but I do not know.
Peggy Crispin's
That's fine.
Put it
My
in
only